Okay, picture this. You've launched your application. It's a huge hit, but that's the problem, isn't it? The sheer number of users is hammering your server. Your app is getting sluggish, it's starting to crash, you're literally being crushed by your own success. This, my friends, is the call to adventure for any true architect.
But don't worry, you're not going into this battle unarmed. You have a legendary technique in your toolkit, load balancing. Think of it as a master traffic director for the internet. It takes that massive flood of incoming requests and cleverly spreads them out across a team of servers. This way, no single server gets overwhelmed and your application stays up and running smoothly.
All right, every great quest involves a choice. And for us, it comes down to two main paths, two different philosophies for managing traffic. We're talking about Layer 4 and Layer 7. You've got to choose your champion for the battle ahead, and your choice is going to define your entire strategy. So, let's meet our champions. In one corner, we have the L4 Warrior. This is your network-level brawler, built for pure speed and raw efficiency. And in the other corner, the L7 Mage. This is your application-level strategist, intelligent, cunning, and wielding powerful content-aware magic. Let's look at their character sheets. See that speed stat? The L4 Warrior is off the charts. It's fast because it's simple. It only looks at basic network info like IP addresses and ports. But now glance down at intelligence. The L7 Mage wins hands down. Why? Because it's application aware. It can actually read the content of a user's request, like a URL or a cookie. Of course, all that brainpower comes at a higher resource cost. The L4 Warrior's special abilities are all about brute force performance. It makes its decisions based only on the outside of the data packet, the TCP or UDP info. It doesn't peek inside the message at all. This makes it incredibly fast, perfect for things like real-time gaming or video streaming, where every millisecond counts. It even has moves like direct server return, where the server can respond right back to the user, completely bypassing the load balancer on the way out for maximum speed.
Now the L7 Mage, its spells are a bit more sophisticated. It works as a full-on proxy, meaning it can intercept the request, read it, and then make some really smart decisions. For instance, it could see a request for /video and send it to your powerful video processing servers, while sending a request for /images to a totally different set of servers. It can also handle all the heavy lifting of encryption for your entire fleet, and even cache popular items to serve them back to users in an instant.
So your app is a global phenomenon. You're no longer operating out of just one data center. You have servers all over the world. But this brings a whole new level of complexity. How do you get a user in Japan to your servers in Tokyo, and a user in France to your servers in Paris? For this, you need to summon a higher power, the Archmage of Traffic Management, Global Server Load Balancing, or GSLB. This isn't just about balancing traffic between servers in one building. No, this is about balancing traffic between entire data centers spread across the globe. It's basically a load balancer for your load balancers.
So how does this magic work? Well, it all happens at the DNS level, right at the very beginning. When a user, let's say in London, tries to visit your site, the GSLB's smart DNS catches that request. It instantly analyzes things like the user's location, the health of your data centers, and the network latency. Then, it hands back the IP address for the best possible data center, in this case, probably your one in Ireland. The user gets sent to the fastest, healthiest location without even knowing it happened.
And the GSLB Archmage has a whole spellbook of routing algorithms to make these calls. It can use geolocation to simply send users to the data center that's physically closest to them. Or it can get even smarter with latency-based routing, actually measuring network conditions to find the fastest path. And, most importantly, it's health-aware. It's constantly checking on your data centers, and if one goes down, poof, it instantly reroutes all traffic to a healthy one. That's your disaster recovery plan right there.
Okay, we've met the champions. We've seen their powers. Now it's time to build your playbook. Let's figure out when to call on each of these powerful tools for your specific quest.
All right, first quest. Let's say you're building a real-time multiplayer game. Your #1 absolute top priority is the lowest possible latency. You need raw speed and you don't need any fancy content inspection. For that quest, you summon the L4 Warrior. It's simple, it's lean, and its packet-level focus gives you the lightning-fast performance you need, no questions asked. Okay, next quest. Now you're building a huge e-commerce website. You need to send people to different servers based on the URL,
You need to keep their shopping cart tied to one server, and you want to offload all that heavy SSL encryption work.
This is a job for the L7 Mage. You need its intelligence. Its ability to understand the application's language is absolutely essential for these kinds of modern, complex web services. This is your champion for pretty much all standard web traffic. All right, the final boss battle. Your app is a global, mission-critical platform. Downtime is not an option. If an entire data center gets hit by a meteor, your users on the other side of the world can't even notice. For a challenge of this scale, you have no choice. You must summon the GSLB Archmage. It is the ultimate weapon for global resilience, making sure your application stays online for everyone, everywhere, no matter what happens.
Now, let's bring this out of the realm of fantasy and into the real world. Here's a look at how these concepts map directly to the tools you can use in Google Cloud. You can literally see our champions here. The application load balancers for HTTP traffic, those are your L7 mages. And the network load balancers for TCP/UDP, yep, those are your L4 warriors. It shows how these fundamental ideas are the building blocks of massive cloud platforms. And just like that, system architects, you've reached the end of this particular quest. You've faced down the terrifying beast of overwhelming traffic, and you've learned to wield the powerful artifacts of load balancing.
Look, if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. There's no single best load balancer. A true master architect knows you don't use a battle axe to pick a lock. You have to understand the quest in front of you and choose the right champion, the warrior, the mage, or the archmage, for that specific job.
You now hold the knowledge to build systems that are not just powerful, but also resilient and scalable. The power to manage the flow of traffic is yours, so the only question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build with it? Go forth and create.